Well, would you look at that? Last video's reaching 1,000. But I don't see so much comments. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about another show from Wales that I enjoyed watching as a kid. It's the debut of a children's icon that originated from books who became popular. And I know what you're thinking. It isn't Super Ted, but this woman, Sali Mali. Let's dive into it. Now, before I can talk about this show, let me explain who this character is. Sali Mali was first created in 1969 by Welsh school teacher Mary Vaughan Jones, where she debuted in the book of the same name as part of a Crescent-Shaped story series, which is Welsh for story reading series, as Mary would go on to create more books featuring new characters. This book was to help children learn and read the Welsh language. The story in this book is pretty simple, as it didn't have much of a plot where Sali Mali's house is described until one night she hears a knocking outside which came from a jackdaw who is cold and all alone. So, Sali sheltered it and fed it. It's never explained in the book that Sali adopted the bird, but we are shown that it now lives with her. As too simple as it is, this book never had any television adaptations. Not even the events of that book were mentioned in any of its television shows. But anyway, this book, along with other character-centric books, has become so popular with not just children, but all of Wales. So popular, in fact, that in 1994, the characters in the Crescent-Shaped story series made their first television appearance in a live-action show on S4C called Caffi Sali Mali. Welsh for Sali Mali's Cafe, we don't know the air date when it first aired, other than it aired in 1994. This show has the titular character Sali Mali now working in a cafe, as there wasn't any hint in the books that Sali would be getting a job. Her customers and friends in the show visiting the cafe include Jackajuk, a Pribach Tew, Thomas Cradog, Nikunaku, Shani Vlewog, Dumplen Malwoden, Jackie Soch, and the twins, Morgan and Maggie Ann. All of these characters are recognizable, as they're from the books. And speaking of the characters, I haven't gone describing their personalities. In the books, they don't explain much about their characteristics, as granted, these books are made for children, so they don't have to be in-depth. But they are seeing what they do in the books, and that's where this show gave them more. Sali Mali herself is the nice, friendly and mother-type figure who works in the cafe, giving orders to her customers and even sometimes helping out with a problem. Jackajuk is the ditzy and inexperienced type of person who gets confused with a lot of things and mixes up with certain words.
Hi Jack, yr ysgol.
O na, dydw i ddim yn mynd i'r ysgol. Dwi'n rili hen.
Yr ysgol, Jack.
Pribach Tew has a fascination for cars, Thomas Cradog is the young, energetic kid, Shani Vlewog is the posh one, Dumplen is the slow one, and Nikunaku is the albeit naive one, and is even helpful to his uncle Jackajuk. Did I mention that Jackajuk and Nikunaku are related? Neither have I. This show also introduces 3 new characters, a washing mop called Mop Gochi Llestri, a wooden spoon called Llwy Bren, and a saucepan called Sosban Fach, who I think is supposed to be referencing the Welsh folk song of the same name. All 3 of these characters are puppets who inhabit in a box, as most of the time they are seen whenever Sally's not in the counter, and the only characters they interact are Jackajuk, 80% of the time, Nikunaku and Tomas Karadog. All three of them have different personalities of their own. Mob is the vain one, as she doesn't want her hair, which is the set of strings, to be wet all the time. Groeibren is the simple-minded one, and Sosbanvach is often the timid and cautious one. They don't serve much other than they are ample about being used by Sali Mali. And there was never an episode in this series where they are finally seen by Sali herself, or maybe there aren't episodes found online. The stories themselves, as I said earlier, are very simple, as there are plots about a certain subject or activity where the main characters have to work out with, such as Jack and Juk going fishing, Sally and her friends going on a trip, Jack and Thomas playing a box full of magic tricks, Jack and Juk having an unhealthy addiction with bananas, Sally and her friends having a barbecue, and so on. I can't say that which one of these is my favourites, but I can see some charm in the characters. As this show is based on a series of children's books, the characters were made to look close to their book counterparts as possible. They also have colours of their clothes to be faithful to their books they appeared in, like with Sali Mali's dress being orange, Jack and Juk's jumper being red, all of Pribarteu's appearance being green, Tomas Karadog being blue with a mix of grey and white, and Nikunaku's overalls being purple as opposed to the book's only colour being purple. Some of them look alright in comparison, but there's one that I'm being nitpicky about, and that is Nikunaku'S eyebrows. I mean, yeah, they painted the actor's real eyebrows in the colour of the same skin, so they could give Niku crescent-shaped eyebrows, as seen in the book the character is featured in. I know it's meant to describe Niku's personality as him being a naive sort of kid, but it just looks weird with him seeing the actor without his real eyebrows. I mean, in later episodes, he was seen with actual eyebrows, because the producers felt that it was weird seeing a human with crescent-shaped eyebrows or something. Not to mention, this show is a musical, as there are songs every episode, just like with every other kid show like Phineas and Ferb or Lazy Town. Some of them do make sense, like with a song from the first episode where Jack and Juk is introducing himself and describing about his appearance, and some just come out of nowhere and make no sense. Like with this one in an episode where Jack and Juk is trying out new shoes. In this scene, Jack is seen tying wool for his socks. He then starts to name and count his feet fingers, and out of nowhere, this happens. Like, what? Did we really need a song about Jack and Juk singing about the names of his fingers in his feet? And not to mention, stop showing close-ups of his feet, it's just... I'm not saying that the songs are bad, it's just that they need context to what's going on, rather than filler to pad out the episode's runtime. Oh, but I didn't get to the editing. Dear God, it's just the sound effects that bug me. Granted, this is a kid show during the 1990s, as this show uses a sound library of cartoon sound effects. But there's one sound effect that bugs me, and that's this sound. This bassoon playing whenever someone does something wrong or realizes what they said or did has been playing throughout the series. I mean, as a kid, it did not get on my nerves, but as an adult, it gets old very fast, especially if you count how many times it's played.
Peth gwyrdd?
Like, whoever is playing that instrument must stop, or else I'm going to break it in half and throw it in the rubbish bin. Sorry for my outburst back there. I haven't told you the actors who played these characters. The actors do a great job representing these characters and show they can thrive in kids shows. We've got Rebecca Harris playing as Sali Mali, Idris Morris Jones as Jack a Juk, Mickey Plum as Pribach Tew, Marged Esley as Dumplen Malwoden, Arwel Griffith as Thomas Cradog, and former child actor Neil Anthony Roberts as Nikunaku. Some of you people outside of Wales aren't familiar with these actors, as they were in soap dramas like Pobl y Cwm, Rownd a Rownd, Wife/Cartref, etc. But suffice to say, the only voice actor in the show is Delith Wynn, where she provided the voices for 3 of the kitchen equipment. Overall, Caffi Sali Mali has stories that are charming to watch, characters who are likable, and the humour, while a bit juvenile at times, can get a bit of a chuckle to some. And while I might say that this is the best Sali Mali series, I would say if they put more elements with the books, like with the characters and the events that happened. Now, the series saw a follow-up in 2004 called Pencha Bach after the series was cancelled in 2001, where it featured new characters, including Sali Mali's sister, Ginny, who is Jack a Juk's love interest in the series. This show is now a soap opera, rather than an episodic series where each episode has a different plot, as in here, there is an ongoing story that is spanning through 2 seasons alone. So apparently, this is the only soap opera that's aimed towards younger children in any sort of media. And as of me recording this video, there is only 1 episode that has been uploaded to YouTube, as the series was free to watch on BBC iPlayer and nobody managed to rip any of the DVDs online at all. But despite the rarely found series, Sali Mali has another television adaptation between these 2 shows. It's animated and only focuses on the titular character and Jack Daw, who is living with her after being taken care of in that book I just mentioned, despite it never being confirmed. And this cartoon is how Sali Mali became a children's icon from Wales, next to the likes of Fireman Sam and Super Ted. So tune in with me next time as I briefly talk about this cartoon and how it's rarely touched upon by fans. So I'll see you there!